Okay, this week's story is an exciting one that we've never seen before. It's a different type of a tale, a different type of a story. All right, it's called a folk tale. What is a folk tale? Who knows what a folk tale is? The plan for the lesson is a general think aloud. We're going through a story for the first time. The students will be previewing and browsing the story to basically get an idea of what they think it'll be about. We'll go over the vocabulary, and then following that, we'll do a read aloud between myself and the students, and we'll go over just spots the students would normally get stumped on, and I'll show them how to think through various vocabulary words using context clues and hints from the pictures in order to figure out what's going on in the story. He's able to go down against great odds and outwit these stronger, faster, magical creatures to do the work of the sky god. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody's asked you to do something and they just think, they're probably not going to be able to do it, but you were actually able to do it? Adam?
Mom, she said I would cook breakfast, and she said that, and she thought that I couldn't do it, but I did cook breakfast.
Somebody thought, he probably wouldn't be able to do it, but Adam was able to overcome those odds, and he was able to cook breakfast. The goal of the lesson is to encourage students to actually be able to determine, am I stuck here? What do I need to do in order to figure out what the passage is saying? How do I actually, for myself, figure out how to comprehend? When I get stuck, I don't just stumble over the word and move on. I'm actually going to take the time to stop, look at the pictures, use the context clues, reread the words around it to figure out what the passage is actually trying to say. So what we've talked about in the pictures that you see, what do you think is going to happen in the story? Justin?
He has to solve something, so he has to get all of these clues to solve the problem.
That sounds like you're saying something about a mystery. He's got something to solve. Maybe there's a problem, and he has to solve this problem, and he's looking for clues. Good guess. Before we pick up on the story, we're going to go over a few words. Now that we have an idea of what the story is going to be about, we need to know what words will we come across that we're not going to know or we haven't gone over as of yet. Let's start off with the first word. Defenseless. What word?
Defenseless.
Defenseless. Okay, what do we think this word means? Defenseless. Who can show me what defenseless is? Excellent job, Sharday. Sharday put her hands up, and she jumped back. Why do you think she would do that for defenseless? Diamond?
Maybe she's afraid of trying to protect herself.
Maybe she's afraid or trying to protect herself. Well, let's look at the word. If we look at the word, we have what? What do we see here? Adam? Defense. And on the other side, if we look at the suffix, there's what?
Less.
Defenseless. What does the word defense mean?
To protect.
You're protecting yourself, but wait a minute. If you are defenseless, what has now happened to your defense?
You're unguarded.
You're unguarded. That suffix less means what now, please, Diamond?
I think it means that you don't have a lot of protection.
You don't have a lot of protection. You're unguarded. So the best blank for that would be what, please? Douglas? Number one. And what does it say, please?
Without perfect.
Without
protection.
Protection, very good.
Under.
Look here. Go slowly.
On. Ground.
Not ground, but.
Unguarded.
Unguarded, very good. You have the prefix of un. The word guard is in the middle, and ed at the end. Unguarded. Again, we have that un in there. What do you think that prefix un means? Not. Not what? Not guarded, unguarded. Very good. Geniuses. I'm surrounded by geniuses. All right, we're going to start reading a story. Again, this is what type of a story?
African fairy tale.
Not African fairy tale, but African folk tale. And we're looking for what type of character in here? The T word that I told you about. There's going to be a
Storyteller.
T word. Trickster. Very good. There's going to be a trickster in here who's going to do what? He's going to
trick the other person.
He's going to trick the other person. He's going to outwit somebody. But let's read through the story and see. And as we're going through, I like to offer the students a chance to express whether or not they're really understanding everything. So we have what are called confusion and clarification cards. The smiley face means clarification. They understand everything that's going on. They're following the story. But when they get to a word that they don't know, they'll hold up with the confusion side, and it's kind of like that look of I don't know what's going on. So we'll stop at that word, go over it, pull it out, and it's useful to them on a daily basis instead of just, the strict vocabulary word that the Open Court series uses. A story. Many African tales, whether or not they are about Kawaku Anansi, the Spider-Man. I see tags up already. Adam?
Whether or not they are about Kawaku Anansi.
What does whether or not mean? Whether or not? Well, Whether or not. Or not could possibly mean it wouldn't be about something. Whether could mean it is about something. But about what? If I read on, it says about kawaku and nansi. I've never seen that word before in my life. What is a kawaku and nansi? But when somebody looks at my name written on a piece of paper, they might not know it's my name. So kawaku and nansi could possibly be the Spider-Man. Do you see how it's written there? It says kawaku and nansi, the Spider-Man. So could we make the inference that possibly kawaku and nansi is the Spider-Man, and that could be his real name. Very good. Anansi, the Spider-Man, wanted to buy the Sky God's stories, so he spun a web to the sky. When the Sky God heard what Anansi wanted, he laughed. Twee, twee, twee. I have to stop? I don't understand that. Twee, twee, twee. I've never seen that word before. Is it two, two, two? No, two ends in a... Oh, not an E. So it's twee, twee, twee. But let's read this line again. It says, when the Sky God heard what Anansi wanted, he twee, twee, twee. Well, in writing, we talk about what all the time? Tyler. That could possibly be what? Onomatopoeia. Well, because it says right before when you're doing a think aloud, the kids really get a chance to express what it is that's going on in their mind. They get a chance to take it step by step and really figure out what's going on in the story. And when they see me do it, it lets them know that I'm not always reading from the beginning to the end and understanding everything either. We can both take it nice and slow, take it in pieces, a small bit at a time, in order to get a real understanding of what the text is trying to say, what the author wants to get across. Giving them a chance to say what's going on in their mind, it makes it so that I can really identify who's having trouble, who's struggling, and who's not, and why. So, now remember, what we were doing today is going to be very helpful when we get to our story next week, and we're talking about Johnny Appleseed. When we're reading our story, when you go to read on your own, you'll be able to use the same techniques that we use today in order to understand the story. You stop and you think. Good readers don't just read and breeze over words. Good readers actually take the time to stop and think before they move on to make sure that they understand what the story is talking about. So to be a good reader from here on out, you've got to make sure that you stop, use context clues, clarify the meaning of words, and make sure that you truly understand before you move on in the story, okay? Sound good?
Yes.
Sound easy?
Yes.
Okay.